Welcome to episode 123 of The Endless Stream. I'm Aidan, and this week I am joined by Kevin. We are two artists, illustrators, filmmakers, and all-round shit-talkers. And each week we take some of the endless stream of content brought to you through Netflix, Hulu, YouTube, Spotify, Disney+, Amazon Prime. Wherever you get your content, we take a chunk of it, we watch it, and we talk about it. This week we are talking about the fact that I spent the last month in Edinburgh. I saw a whole bunch of shows. We discussed one or two of them. We talk about the new film Maggie Moore's. I think it's directed by John Slattery. It's starring John Hamm and a bunch of other people. We talk about Barbie a bit. And we get into a bunch of chit-chat about clowning. If you like what you hear, please consider subscribing to the podcast, heading over to iTunes, heading over to Spotify, rating, reviewing, liking, subscribing. All of those good things really help us out. On top of that, you can head over to Instagram at The Endless Cast, where we put up art and clips to go with each episode. That's a great place to send us a message, send us a comment, disagree with us, suggest something for us to watch. You can do that over there. On top of that, you can send us an email at theendlesscast@gmail.com. I'm just going to flag this up front as well. Again, we're trying to put some format, or we're trying to put a bit more format on the podcast, so we're trying to suggest something to watch each week. So, towards the end of this one, we confirm that we're going to go and see The Bridge on the River Kwai and talk about that on next week's episode 124. So if you've never seen The Bridge on the River Kwai, or if you have and just want to refresh your memory, go check that out because we'll be talking about that on episode 124. All that being said, let's get into the episode. So I'm just going to say, what's up, Kev? Like and subscribe, smash that button, give me a high five. All my subscribers, Patreon, YouTube, hey. Aidan's back again.
I didn't miss you.
Well, that's good to know.
You've been off wandering the Highlands.
I have. Just beneath the Highlands, I think, right? Edinburgh isn't Highlands.
I don't know.
I have been in Edinburgh. I've been in Edinburgh for a month. We released a podcast that we recorded from Edinburgh. I don't know if you listened to that. Yeah.
I was, yeah. That was with Michael, wasn't it?
How was that for you audio-wise? I had one person say the road was infuriating.
It was fine. No, it didn't bother me.
I thought it was sort of like mise-en-scene-y, like atmospheric-y enough that like it put you in the place.
Yeah, like if you were to do a true crime podcast and you were interviewing somebody on location.
Yeah, it wasn't terrible. Did you see Oppenheimer in the end? That was the episode we talked about Oppenheimer.
I did not.
I would recommend it.
I did not. Yeah, I want to see it. I might go see it in the Stella because I went there for the first time last night, but we'll get back to that later. But I do want to see it, man. Look, to be honest, friends of mine invited me to go see it, and I kind of felt bad in the sense because because myself and some of the guys from Athlone will meet up and have a burger or dinner, and then we go to the cinema. We don't see each other all that often, but we try to make time for each other, you know? Or we try to make time for each other every couple of weeks or whatever. But, so the guys want to go see Oppenheimer. And I said to them, I just meet them for a burger and I'll kind of run off afterwards. I didn't want to stay in the cinema for 3 hours because the last 3 times I went to the cinema, it was really fucking hard, man. Like, just people having full-blown conversations, phones out, taking pictures, laughing. Like, it's just like, Jesus Christ, like, kind of like, you know, I'm not in a cafe or a bar.
Is this your friends?
Movie, you know? No, not my friends. No, people in the cinema.
Sucks. Sorry, not to derail you, but like...
No, that's my point. I just, like, the lads wanted to go, but I was just like, no, to be honest, I've just had that many experiences lately where I can't really picture myself 3 hours in the cinema watching Oppenheimer because I think it could just be miserable.
Yeah, I do think there's a, like, picking your time and picking your film can sort of sidetrack some of that or sidestep some of that. But, like, I've been at, like, big new releases and I'm like, some dickhead is recording shit for TikTok and it's like, just put your fucking phone away. You scum, Kevin. Scum.
Subhuman scum.
Subhuman scum.
That was hard. I think I did a lot of work there, to be fair.
Oh, yeah, you did. It's the worst. It really does fuck with the experience of the theater when there's just somebody who's like chatting or like answering a phone is the absolute worst fucking thing. I've seen people answer the fucking phone. It drives me mad. Yeah, look, cinema. I was in Edinburgh. I don't know I can't quite remember what I talked about on the Own podcast. Did we talk about shows we'd seen?
I was only listening to it this week. Oh God, and I can't remember what you're talking about. That's it was entertaining, not a reflection of you, of course. I remember you.
Well, let me then say that I think I saw a lot of shows. I don't think I saw as many as other people. I don't know, I'm an oddball. There's people in the group that were just I'm going to see at least a show every day. And it's that's 25 shows at a 10 or a pop, or, I guess some of them are free. But it's they're seeing at least a show a day, if not 2, if not 3. And it's kind of overwhelming and exhausting at a certain point. But I definitely saw some highlight shows. There's a show by a performer called Michelle Brazier, which was called Reform, which was a sort of musical telling of a story where she tried to buy a reformer Pilates system, bench, whatever you call those things, and she got scammed on Facebook Marketplace, basically. And then engaged in a 1.5 year long process of trying to get her money back and talking to the guy who was doing it and learning his story and stuff. And it was very fun and very heartfelt and very beautiful. The lesson that she learned around, or that she's pitching out of engaging with a human being and learning why they're doing the things they're doing, which is fun. I don't know if I talked to you about Julia Masley. Definitely my highlight show of the Edinburgh Fringe. And if you start looking for reviews of the Edinburgh Fringe, you will see that it does seem to have risen to the top of a lot of people's. The Guardian wrote a review about it that was said something along the lines of every year there's something that sort of captures the heart of the Fringe and becomes this thing that unifies, and this year it's Julia Masley, and it was great. She was supposed to run for half of the Fringe and she doubled it and ran for the whole back half of it. It was a midnight show, and when she added extra dates, she had to push it to 1:30 in the morning, and she sold out perpetually. It was clowning, I guess, and I was not familiar with, I guess, artistic comedic clowning.
What's her name?
Masley, Masli, and the show was called Ha 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 Ha. And what she would do. And while I was there, I saw her, I believe, husband, Viggo Venn, who just won Britain's Got Talent. He's the guy with the high-vis vests. And I saw a guy called Rob, I've forgotten his name. He had a show called Baby Trains, and a guy called Demetrio Matteo or something like that, who had a show called Mush. God, Jeremiah DeMeo? I'm going to have to look him up. All people that fall into the category of clowning, where they come out, and of course they've got a toolbox of skills and interactions and whatever the hell else, but you kind of just come out to a room, and if people applaud, or you strike a funny face, or if there's a little reaction, you react to that. There's a little,
and she's obviously just incredibly.
They're all incredibly good at this, right? And Viggo Venn's thing is he walks in and it's got a very high party energy, and he'll be laughing at somebody in the front row, and then somebody in the back of the room will drop a glass and his head will pop up and he'll be, what the hell is this? And he's off down the back of the room to see what the hell's going on, and an interaction starts there.
Oh God, so it's basically just putting people on edge, oh God, don't interact with me, and everybody's laughing nervously but enjoying it.
Yeah, and the things that he does once he interacts with you are just fun and wholesome and sweet and hilarious. And
great. And that's the guy who won British Got Talent.
And it's an hour of just
I never heard of him.
A blast. And somewhere along the lines he introduces being from Norway, and trying to understand the why did the chicken cross the road joke, and then he ends up in a chicken suit and he's trying to cross a paper road, and the end of the show is him in a chicken suit on a paper road, and I just see him driving out in a little electric kid's Jeep, just whizzing out to music playing, and the room laughing their whole off.
Hilarious.
And it's great fun, and it brings the room together.
Yep.
Where Julia Masley elevated this for me, and my friends have heard me say this a bunch at this point, but I've had a chance to think about it because I've seen a number of shows doing things like this now. She's coming out almost this sort of alien being, this childish, naive. We don't know what she's doing. Like in the corner of the room, there's a black curtain, and you kind of see hands pressing into it and a face pressing into it, just trying to sort of come into our world for the first like 3 minutes. That's like while the audience is coming into the room. It's a separate thing.
Oh,
like,
wow.
It's not like the show has started. It's just like if you notice something is trying to get into our world. And then she comes out fixated on a bell, staring at it, and she goes ha 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 and rings the bell. Goes ha 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 and rings the bell. And goes ha 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 and rings the bell. And then she looks to somebody in the audience, just turning the head, like creeping out, fixated. Yeah. And she's got like a light on the back of her hand that's lighting her face.
All right, it sounds kind of equal parts like
eerie.
Kind of, I was just to say terrifying.
We don't know what that is.
Sounds great though. It sounds very captivating.
And she comes to the first guy in the audience and goes ha ha, and stops.
Ha. He has to say
you see, that's you making the leap. But somebody goes, this guy will go, hello. And she goes, no! And she's amplified, and it just, the whole room shakes with this no. And then she pauses. Oh. But she reaches a point where she's got a microphone on the end of a mannequin leg. And she puts the microphone in front of somebody and goes, problem? And people go, huh? And she goes, no! And moves to the next person. Goes, problem? And someone goes, I guess it's kind of hot. And she'll grab him, put him on stage, put an electric fan next to him and tape the fan to him, and then moves to the next person. Problem? And the problems are tiny or the problems are huge. I have no money for rent. She stands him up, puts him next to somebody and goes, ask him for money. She's Estonian and then just moves him along the line. And eventually people just start handing out money. Like, weirdly enough, people start giving this person money. In my instance, the second time I went, because I went a couple of times, it was great.
Yeah, why not? It sounds fascinating.
When I went, a woman went, oh, I kind of feel bad, I've put on some weight. And she went, what? Why? You're beautiful. And someone in the back of the room goes, oh, I feel that too. And she sort of goes running to them and goes, what? Why? What is it? And someone says, me too. And she's like, who is making you feel this way? And someone says, society. And she does the no. And she's sort of running up and down the aisle, sort of furious that society would make women feel this way.
God, it sounds
and she
scary.
looks around and like, who is this? Who did this? And I was wearing a suit.
Man, capitalism.
So the microphone gets stuck in my face. Was it you? And I was like, I just said, so I've been led to believe. And so she grabs me and up I come on stage. And she says, why are you doing this? And I said, I guess I come from a long line of white men. And she went, we must burn away this toxic masculinity. And she sends someone out to the bar and they come back with a large bottle of vodka. And they hand me this bottle and I'm like, I take a slug and she's like, drink. We're burning away the toxic masculinity, and like drink and then drink and then drink and keep drinking. And she takes out a naggin and she starts drinking and then she spits it in my face, and like there's like a hug and a cheer, and she puts me down and goes, the world will be better, we have to get rid of this. Now that was just my interaction because so many people interacted. You end up with 8 to 10 people with their problems being solved. In one instance someone went, I just feel stuck and I wish I could do something more brave or outlandish. And they went, well, what would you want to do? And she went, I don't know, get naked on stage. And Masley went, you're sure? And by the end of the show, and I think she paid her for taking part in the show to this degree, but by the end of the show, Julia Masley and this woman got naked on stage and were crowd surfed around the room. Completely starkers, crowd surfed around the room. Now, the way the show ends...
But do you think that person was a plant?
Not at all. Not even a little bit. It's just the way this show was.
Wow.
Towards the back third of the show, she kind of starts going, I don't have an ending. So I need you people to sort of start, I don't have an ending. One of the shows I saw that there was a musician in the front and she was like, is this a, what? And he says, it's a saxophone. She says, oh, can you play for us? And as it gets towards the end, and just in the last like 3 minutes, you'll start hearing people's problems reiterated because the microphone was recording them saying things.
Oh, wow.
And anybody who had a weird laugh, she had like put the microphone in front of them as well. So you start hearing that laughter play back. And when she hears the problem, she goes, no, we fixed this. And she goes and tries to fix it again. And then she looks at somebody and goes, I'm running out of time. I haven't helped you yet. and what was your problem? And she's just, suddenly there's this like, look at who we've helped, look at what we've, and what you end up with is this sort of coming together of the audience as they want to help each other, and she wants to help them, and there's a frustration that we can't help everybody. And where some of these shows are just so much fun, this one just felt like everyone was better for having gone to it.
I was going to say, it sounds like a transformative experience for, it could be like incredibly transformative for some people that were actually partaking in it, but it sounds wild.
It felt
sounds
safe.
Incredible.
It didn't feel, at any point like lunatically wild, but it brought a room of people together in a way that the other clowning shows that I saw didn't. And I think it was...
But it sounds very unique.
It was phenomenal. And I've now oversold it. I don't think anyone... I don't know. I don't know if anyone would have the same experience going to it, but I went twice and I loved it. And I have friends that went 3 and 4 times.
Yeah, well, I saw like if they ever came to Ireland, I think
I would highly recommend. Yeah, I also saw a show called Police Cops, the musical. And that is like the Naked Gun meets a musical. It was so fucking funny, much more straight line. It's like 5 people put together a West End show that's like 80s cops doing Naked Gun quality humor on stage. Yeah. It was so small that like when it ended, you saw the cast like grabbing like makeshift shelves and boxes and bringing them out on the stage, and I was like, is this like a post-credit scene? It's like, no, they just have to pack everything up and get off the stage for the next show quickly, and there's only 5 of them. And they had just done something at such a level that I was like, this is a West End show and it's so fucking fun.
Incredible.
And Police Cops the musical, it is playing in London, I think, towards the end of the year. So if anyone's in London, I think September through December or November through December, go fucking check it out because it's fucking great.
Potentially could be over at some stage, so that does sound good.
So those are my 2 highlights. I guess I mentioned Michelle Brazier as well. Those are my 3 Edinburgh highlights that I can't stop telling people about.
Yeah, well, it sounds fascinating. Yes, I really like the sounds of Julia
Masley.
Masley, yeah. Sounds like crazy, but sounds incredible.
Yeah, I mean, it's... You go a few times, you start to see, the problems that she is prepared to interact with. But the character and the way that she... And it's a clowning thing, kind of like being reactive as a child and having this sort of wide-eyed, like anything happens, react to it in a positive way, engage and be curious and whatever. We've got such a sort of jaded idea of like birthday clowns, that clowning gets kind of disregarded.
Or being incredibly lowbrow.
The Vigo Ven thing, like, because of the Britain's Got Talent of it all, you kind of get a little dismissive. I did anyway. Like, I'd seen a clip of that fucking high vis act where he's like, they're playing one more time, I think, and he like takes off a high vis jacket and swings it above his head, and you think it's over, and it goes one more time, and he's got another high vis jacket under his coat, and that just kind of repeats in a way that's like, how many of these fucking jackets could he possibly have on? And that, I think, was his first audition. But like when I realized sitting in the audience who this was, given that I had seen that clip on TikTok or something, I was like, oh fuck, I hated this when I saw it. But when he got into the room and started doing the whole thing and was reactive with the world, very charismatic, very hilarious, very fun. What were you about to say?
Excellent.
Okay.
No.
You looked at the phone in such a way as if you're about to say, okay, I actually have to jump. Or
No. I just saw that it was like it was 3 years ago. He was on
3
British
years
Got
ago?
Talent. That's all. Yeah, well, I think this clip says it's from. Maybe here. Look, I'm terrible at reading dates on TikTok. I don't know if that's.
I feel like it must be fairly recent because like he.
Well, yeah. Well, you know,
like,
I've never
even
heard
like 15 minutes into his act, he sort of stopped at the microphone and went, "Can you believe I won that thing?"
Oh no. It was It was this year. Sorry, those that. You know, like the way they structure the day on TikTok is weird.
No worries, no worries. There was that moment where he was like, "Can you believe I won that thing?" But even for his show, in terms of like, I don't know what he planned to do when he walked into the room. Like, he did a funny, like, the show starts and he comes out of the closet wearing a giant, like, 6-foot balloon on his head, bouncing. And it goes one more time, and he's just dancing. The room's kind of hype. And then the balloon pops, and it's not him. And then he walks in from the side in a jacket with a briefcase and looks at the guy and looks at the room. And it's like, the fuck is this guy? And they kind of, like, he chases that guy off. But in a very positive, upbeat way. But then he spotted the two people in front of me, like an older couple, that were wearing high-vis jackets. And he just was like... And he pulls one of them up on stage and has a little dance with them, because there's no trying to not communicate in words for a while. And then, like, the first 10 minutes became about, like, this, like, wedding bit where he was, like, marrying the one that showed up in the high-vis jacket. And then when it got comfortable, he brought the husband up and, like, married them together. And then, like... But, like... That was not the plan when he walked in the room. He just saw two people in high-vis jackets and just started playing, you know?
Oh, it's crazy.
The character comedy thing is just not a thing we have on the Irish scene here.
No, not at all. Not at all. And I feel like, do you know who does it?
Go on.
Mark
Maloney?
Yeah.
Yeah. To a degree. To a very subtle degree.
Well, you know, he is pretty wild, though, in sense when he did that gig in Dublin Inc. and he just walked out. That was it. That was done.
Yeah. And I left that hang a little bit too long as well, because he came back and went, "Oh, I'm done." You know? And I was like, okay, I was just letting it hang. I was joining you and letting this be uncomfortably long. Yeah. And he did a show with us in Edinburgh as well. Like, we ran some little stand-up days as well, and he came over and did a show as well. He's so fucking funny. He's performing at Electric Picnic this weekend. That's him sort of scaling the comedy ranks a little bit.
He deserves it. He's very funny. You should take a leaf from his book.
All right, be funnier. Got it.
A page from his tree.
But he's walking a line of, like, incredibly clever jokes and character comedy. And, like, I don't know if you watch, like, things like 8 out of 10 Cats Does Countdown or that sort of thing, and they'll have somebody in Dictionary Corner doing a character, or a guy with, like, weird fucking glasses just being an oddball. And I always am like, I don't fucking get this. Why are we seeing this? Who are these people? They're not fucking funny. Whether or not that shit works in the room and there's this feeling of, like, uncomfortableness with threat of, like, what the fuck is this? And I think that's part of it.
You don't think it translates as well to the screen?
But I also think that might be a degree of, we just don't see that in Irish comedy clubs in the same way. Not as much at all. Like, and, like, you know, like, I'm at venues and stuff in Edinburgh, and it's like, you see posters for people and it's like, character comedy done right, and it's like, that's not even a thing here. Not really. Like, I can name 2 people that kind of do it. The rest of them are...
So you're saying there's a niche in the market, and we should be caramelly?
Is this the character?
No,
because it sounds like Elmer Fudd. Or is it Porky? Porky Pig.
That's all, folks.
That's all.
So Edinburgh sound like you had a blast.
Yeah,
you really enjoyed it. Character comedy not as prevalent over here, so you're going to start doing it. I look forward to seeing your character development over the next couple of hours, days, weeks.
Yeah, I'm
get on it.
I'm trying to walk a balance of like finding a comedic voice or finding a thing that you like to do. I don't know. Trying to be as natural, I think, is the key for me anyway. It's like, and at the moment that's a balance, or it's to a degree I'm overthinking it. Sometimes I get up on stage and I just I have an enthusiasm when you're talking to me. I have a kind of like, people have like, you know, like I remember years back someone going, "Isn't Aidan like a fucking puppy?" Because he's just kind of like got a lot of energy reacting to the world going on and just happy and out in the world. But sometimes doing stand-up and stuff, I'm like, I'm talking too fast. So
yeah, but that happens every, like, you know, you kind of, I think that's something you learn, isn't it?
Yeah. So there's a part of me that's like trying to slow down and breathe. But when you're hosting a show where it needs upbeat and energy, the fact that I'm trying to like almost like slow right down and go through things kind of much more matter of fact. It's a balance, or I'm trying to find a balance. I don't think I'm ever going to be a character comic, because I think where I'm most relatable, or where I'm most funny is going to be when I'm just being likable or just being.
Where your strength lies is you being you, buddy.
I hope so. Yeah. I mean, Michael. We talk about like Michael loves character weirdness and stuff.
Yes.
But I've talked to him. It's a conversation I've had with him a few times. Or he'll be telling you a story, and you're just like, that's a fucking stand-up act. And he went, it's a very straight line, though, isn't it? And it's like, that would kill. That is such a, like, when you're not doing a character, you have a vulnerable charisma. People want to like you. You're such a sweetheart, and you've got this sincerity. And if you were to just tell these stories, you'll have people laughing their whole off. And based on that, he did that a few times in Edinburgh, and I watched him tell stories that he told to me and others as like just over drinks, and he got great reactions. And he's still a little like, oh yeah, but that's not entirely the kind of comedy I'm trying to do. I'm trying to do like bigger, weirder character stuff. And it's like, man, you do very well with these things. Just tell these stories sincerely, and they're things that have happened in your life. Like a very simple thing. You know when you go into a bathroom in a hotel and there's a little fan heater on the wall and you pull the string, and like it's like those little like floor heaters just mounted to a wall. Sharon in the Airbnb we're staying at went, is there a hairdryer here? And I went, yeah, it's in the wardrobe. And he went, oh no, it's in the bathroom. I went, no, it's in the wardrobe. And I kind of went and got it, and he went, well, what's that thing? And I went, that's a space heat. Like, that's a space heater. And he went, I thought it was a hairdryer. And I went, sorry? And he went, I've been using those as hairdryers my entire life. And I was just like, I don't know how he tells that story as a joke. That particular one, I'm just telling you that one because he's got other ones, but I don't want to like put them out there. But I was just like, that's
hilarious.
That's so fucking funny. That is such a like. Of course, it's a thing putting out hot air in a bathroom just above head height. Why wouldn't it be a hairdryer?
Yeah,
I suppose.
Hilarious,
but fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
I feel like I've talked for 25 minutes. How are you getting on? What's happened in Ireland since I've been away?
Dublin has gone to complete another disarray. Armed police force has been, how would you say, has been unleashed upon the community, and we're living in martial law.
Oh, cool. Okay, so civic dystopia.
Yes,
has that genuinely happened, or is it just a lot of headlines talking about that?
Headline talking about that. I don't frequent the streets that people frequent that are not frequentable for tourists and cultures. I jest. I don't care. I go out.
No, but there are certain areas in any city that you go to that are going to be rougher than other areas.
I know, but like kind of some areas are a strong mixture.
Right. Yeah.
A real strong mixture, which is kind of, I think, therein lies the problem. But no, things in Ireland, fine. We still like, kind of, no one can buy houses. The average rent is €2,102.
What the fuck, man? What the fuck?
Which is wild.
I saw, again, TikTok is my source for all fucking things. I saw somebody going like, look, if you're going to build a house, here are the things to do. Make sure you've got like a big mud room. Make sure you put your garage on the side of the house. If you've got 100 feet of road frontage, why wouldn't you just put your garage on the side of the house? Make sure that you have X amount of bedrooms. Make sure that you like recess your ceiling lights. Make sure that this and the other. I mean, if you're going to spend €400,000 on or $400,000 on a home, building a home, make sure you do all of these things. And I was just like, $400,000. And I was looking at the home and I was just like, $400,000. Like, $400,000 gets you...
there's not much out there, that's for sure.
Even if you are able to find somewhere in Ireland for 400,000, or somewhere in Dublin for 400,000, you're talking about a 50 square meter home, as opposed to put your fucking 3-car garage on the side of your house.
Yes, yeah. Mine was 86 square meter.
86. Okay, sorry, 80 square meters. It's been a while since you looked at houses.
But totally, I get you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I love my house. But
love your house by all means. I'm just again going 400,000 in a place that isn't fucking ludicrous versus 400,000 in Dublin is
wild. Yes,
wild.
The housing market is still mental. It's getting crazier as well. People are saying it's improving, but it's not. I think that's just the media trying to make people buy.
Yeah.
So what else is there? No country's still up in arms. Still in disarray. Awful road accidents. A lot of road accidents happening that are tragic, brutal. Let's not get onto that. But God bless all those families, because there's some awful stuff that's happened. Focusing on the positive things. I started watching Sopranos.
You started watching The Sopranos. Have you ever seen The Sopranos?
So I have seen the occasional episode with my father growing up, which in hindsight, questionable.
That he was watching that content with a young child.
Oh, well, young. I was like maybe like what, 90. Maybe 12, 11, 12, 13, 11 or 12 maybe. But, and then obviously as I got older and the show was going on, I saw 1 or 2 episodes. So I was in my early teens. So probably not that questionable. But at the same time though, like kind of watch it now, it's just like, wow, some of this stuff is real dark or real adult or whatever. But it probably went over my head as a 13-year-old anyways, But started watching Sopranos about 8 episodes in. I love it. I think it's... So I have seen it. I have seen maybe 3 to 4 seasons, definitely at least 3 seasons, and I've attempted to watch it a handful of times, and the only reason I kind of ever stopped watching it or whatever is probably just because life things, but Emer's never seen it before. She's always heard Sopranos, so she's really keen to watch it. So it was her birthday last Monday. We were having a chill night in. Happy birthday, Emer. We were having a chill night in because we had a very, very hectic weekend. So come Monday on her birthday, we had a chill night and we started watching Sopranos. Which, like I said, it's great. It's a good show. I can't wait to kind of get really stuck into it. I love it. It's very, very good. Kind of as well. I forgot how kind of funny it was.
Oh yeah. I mean, listen. Here's the thing. I have just seen clips. I've never watched The Sopranos. I actually think I have the entire Sopranos on DVD here. Someone gave me, but I never got around to watching it. I can remember the Tuesday rerun from the Friday premiere of episode 2, and I'm like, I missed the first episode, so I'll catch it all in reruns. And like that was when it was first airing, and I've never watched an episode. Many ways, in the same way that I've not seen The Godfather 2, because I'm just like, I'll catch it when it's in the cinema, because somewhere's going to show it, and I've still never seen it. It's by all accounts a fucking phenomenal show. You enjoy it?
Yeah, very, very much so. Very, very much so. Like I said, looking forward to kind of like really stuck in, because I know myself from watching it before. Like, not that it takes time to get there or something. Oh, that's a bottle of urine. Gross.
No, it's vitamin C water. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. I told you my urine's packed full of vitamin C, but
oh man.
But so like it's like I know like kind of they're building now, so I know how good it gets, So I'm looking forward to kind of seeing more of that. So watching Sopranos, I started watching a movie. I had to finish it, but I was enjoying it, with Tina Fey, John Hamm, and a handful of other actors that I'd recognise and know. And John Hamm is investigating a murder. A guy's wife finds he's in possession of child pornography. The guy was holding this child pornography for a food supplier who supplies his restaurant with cheap, out-of-date shit.
Right.
The wife finds it, wants to divorce him, gonna ruin him. He hires somebody to kill her. Or he hires somebody to scare her, to give her back to child porn, so he can... And the person kills her. So the guy freaks out and he's just like, you idiot, you shouldn't have done that. But he finds out that there's another person in his hometown with the same name. So he tells the guy to kill that woman as well, trying to kind of create like a...
Confusion.
I
saw the trailer for this. What's this movie called?
Yeah. Maggie Moore maybe, or something like that.
Yeah, Maggie Moore is... Yeah. I'll Google it here. That's out, is it? Where was it screaming?
So I'm watching it on Now TV.
Cool.
It's something like Maggie Moore.
Maggie Moore brackets with an S on it. Maggie Moore's.
Yes, yeah. I'm enjoying it. It's pretty good. It didn't really get IMDb 6 out of 10. Irish Times 2 out of 5. Fuck the Irish Times. 49% of Rotten Tomatoes. Like, I haven't finished it, but it's like, you know, it's fine. Like, you know, whatever. Also, I went to the Stella Cinema for the first time last night.
So tell people what the Stella is for our international listeners.
So the Stella Cinema has actually been 100 years in operation in Dublin. It's a cool... Have you ever been there before, Aidan?
I've been on the outside of it. I've not gone to see a film.
We should do that.
Oh,
okay?
Cool.
Because basically you go there and you know, you buy your tickets, you queue up. They have a cocktail menu, a food menu, they have snacks like popcorn, jellies, chocolates, whatever you want. And they have then just regular beers and drinks and all that kind of stuff. Emer and I got hot dogs and a Parmesan fries, and they were delicious. The Parmesan fries, particularly delicious. But they come into the movie 45 minutes into the movie to give you your food. So you have your wee snacks and stuff. It's so well done. So well done. You don't see, like, they don't inconvenience you. Even afterwards, we were just like, wow, you really don't notice them giving people food. You know what I mean? Like, okay. you don't notice them. They're so good at it. But dude, it's very fancy. It's very, very, like, posh. Oh yeah. So anyways, it's done like an old timey cinema. You each sit in your own little armchair. You have a big first footstool in front of you when you put your legs up. There's a little table between you with a lamp on it. Now all those lamps get turned off when the movie starts. It's very, very, I'd say 1920s, a little 1930s style, kind of like theater, you know. It's cool. In the back of it, I think in the back of the thing, they have couches where you can kind of sit on a couch with your friend or whoever. And I think down the front, they have like kind of like, they're more like beds, but they have individual armchairs and stuff, and it's really, really, really well done. But they have ushers coming in, and like, if you leave like and you come back in, an usher will open the door for you and all that kind of stuff. Like it's well done, but like they take it seriously. But yeah, like, kind of really, really good experience. Very, very much enjoyed it. Really would love to go back again for sure. Now that I've been there, it's just like I used to always hear about it and I never really understood.
Yeah.
Now that I've been there, it's like, okay, I can put that in better context and I want to go again. And I'd be up for seeing like random movies and stuff in there for sure.
Yeah, I think the thing is, like, I've always loved the idea of it as a repertory cinema showing cool films I love or haven't seen and would love to see in a cinema context. But I've always had this little idea of like, it's just kind of got a little bit of like just too bougie on it, that I'm like, I'm going to have to pay more for my ticket, I'm going to have to pay more for my popcorn, I'm going to have to pay more for cocktails because of the context. And that might be the case, and that still might be worthwhile for the fun of the experience. I mean, they're showing Jurassic Park. I love Jurassic Park.
So, yes, I love Jurassic Park too.
A Star is Born is showing. Aliens. Blade Runner: The Final Cut is showing in the middle of September. I love Blade Runner.
I can't see Blade Runner anymore in the cinema.
No, you've seen it too many times in the cinema.
Seen it too many times in the world. I don't even remember what Blade Runner is about.
The original Father of the Bride is showing.
With Steve Martin.
No, the one before that, the one from like 50s. I love the one with Steve Martin, of course.
I watched that. Fucking go to the cinema and see that.
School of Rock.
Motherfuckers.
7 Brides for 7 Brothers. I've seen that a bunch. Bridge over the River Kwai. True Romance.
Oh, I like Bridge over the
Young
River
Frankenstein. I have never seen the Bridge over the River Kwai. I could go see that.
Oh,
that's
like
next
that.
Friday.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one.
2:30 in the afternoon. Doing anything at 2:30 on a Friday?
Let me see next Friday. Hang on.
Oh my God! Did we just decide what we're going to talk about on the podcast next week?
Let's do the Stella and Bridge over the River Kwai.
Sounds great. I look forward to it. I have never seen it. You've seen it.
Am I getting Kelly's Heroes confused with Bridge over the River Kwai? No, I don't think so. Bridge over the River Kwai, they're definitely whistling that song.
I believe so.
Yeah. Anyways, I've seen it. Yeah. But so last night I went. Yes, Kelly Heroes is a great movie. Kelly's Heroes is so much
real
fun.
Saturday afternoon RTE2 film.
Yes. But and I was much later seeing that, so I could have kind of appreciated it more. But people need to see Kelly's Heroes. I haven't seen it. I don't know how it's aged, but it's good. But what was I going to say? Yeah, so last night, obviously, I went to the Stella, and I recommend it. It's a fun experience and all that jazz. And I went to see Barbie.
Okay, how was Barbie? That sort of came out just as I was going to Edinburgh, so it's got to be out the month, right?
Yes, have you seen it?
No.
Would you be interested in seeing it?
I'm not going to go to the cinema to see it. The vibe I got off it, all of the hype, which is great fun. Great fun, love the hype. Especially the sort of contrasting with Oppenheimer hype of it. But Oppenheimer was a film where, again, Nolan's going out of his way to shoot something to be seen in as immersive a situation as possible. The more I heard about Barbie as it went along, it felt a little bit more and more like Elf, which is a character in a weird magical world that comes to the real world, learns something and brings it back. And I was just like, and I know there's going to be differences, but Elf was my point of reference, and I know that there's a kind of political stance or a point of view, and maybe political is wrong, because I have a feeling if I watch it, it's one of these things where it's like, you can't fucking argue with this, you know. It's not a political standpoint, it's just a like people should be better kind of point of view. But basically in terms of scale of significance of whether or not I need to go to a film, Barbie feels like Elf. I'll watch it on TV.
Okay, like kind of, you don't need to see this in it. You know,
I look forward to seeing it on TV.
I've seen I've seen Barry, not Oppenheimer. It's just because I just don't know if I can do 3 hours in the cinema, but maybe in the Stella. But
can go and see it. You can, like, I mean, you've seen Avengers fucking Endgame how many times? Go and see.
No, I know, but like kind of as we talked, just my cinema experiences lately have just been a little bit meh. So I just don't know if I have the tolerance of patience to sit in a room while people try and do TikToks and
Again, first weekend of Barbie, I'm sure that's what you get. 5th week into Barbie. 5th week into Oppenheimer, maybe in an IMAX. I don't know that that's what you're getting. You know what I mean? Like, your audience dissipates.
I don't know though, dude. I think it's the opposite. I think the more
people get more relaxed.
I think the people who want to see it more go initially and at the start and stuff, and the people who kind of could give kind of 2 sheets are seeing it in like 5 weeks time, because you know it's kill an hour, go to the cinema, do whatever. Blah, blah. But anyways, Barbie was good. Like kind of. So yeah, you're right. You're kind of completely right in terms of what you know. It's a comparison to Elf in a sense. You know, Will Ferrell is also in this movie. It kind of, his character is strange, and the people, yes, okay. and the people in the boardroom are strange. But like, look, the movie's very well done. Really, really well done. Kind of lots of laughs and chuckles and all that kind of stuff. Its commentary, I think, on things are very true. And like Emer and I kind of had the exact same opinion in the sense of like kind of like basically it's like they were touching on these things and it was the plot and X, Y, and Z, but I kind of feel like it was done in it was like a soft approach to it, you know. But then at the same time, it is Barbie, it's 12s, people of a certain age would be going to it as well, you know. But I just think like kind of it could have like there was parts that were weird, and it's super trippy. It's super trippy. There's some really trippy stuff in it, and like sometimes it feels like really like kind of like whoa, like jarring or disconnected or something. But I liked it. I did like it. It's a fun movie. I to be honest, like, you know, I'd recommend it. Like, why not? Like, it's as kind of entertaining experience as watching any kind of like Elf or comedy or you know what I mean? Like, it's completely I liked it. Don't get me wrong.
Sitting at 88 in Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, I liked it. I think it's good. But I think, like, obviously, I think they kind of like, it would have been a little bit like kind of more poignant to lean a little bit harder on smash the patriarchy, the damage and effect of the patriarchy, and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, wow, okay.
However, I do understand that it's you know, it's the 12s, and they probably want to keep it like,
you want them to go harder. Wow.
Well, yeah, like I think some of the stuff that they were hitting on was like because like basically in Barbie Land it's all perfect, and kind of Barbies are kind of like the main characters, and then like, or the dominating
matriarchy.
Yes, exactly. It's more of a matriarchy, and then kind of like Ken and Barbie go to the real world. Ken gets exposed to the patriarchy. He brings those ideals back. He completely destroys Barbie land. Then they have to kind of restore it by smashing the patriarchy, and then it kind of like levels off a bit, as in like, you know what, like kind of what we were like before, it wasn't good either, and trying to kind of find a balance in a sense, but it's good, like, and Ryan Gosling is good as Ken, possibly a smidge old.
Oh, okay.
Like you kind of, but like, that also kind of adds to the kind of comedic aspects of some of it, you know what I mean? But he's in incredible shape for it. Oh my god.
Interesting.
And he's a musical number in it, and it's very, very good. I love the commentary in it. I really did love the commentary in it, and it's hilarious, and like I said, it's like real, like it's on the nose. It's really, really good. I think kind of if men probably don't like it, it's probably hitting a nerve with them. They're probably uncomfortable that like they're getting called out on their BS,
Yeah.
But I liked it. It's a good movie. Go see Barbie if you haven't seen Barbie. Go see Barbie. It is fun. The musical numbers are great. The sets and all that kind of stuff are super impressive. Like it's an engaging movie because it's weird. It feels adult, but it also, there's parts of it that doesn't. But Margot Robbie is brilliant in it. She's very, very good. So I enjoyed it very much so. Obviously when something's super hyped up, I try not to listen to hype. I didn't see any trailers. I had no idea of the plot, anything like that at all. So I was going in very, very blind, and I was surprised to see actors in it and certain people in it and all that kind of stuff. But it was great to see them. And like some of it is quite funny and all that kind of stuff. But I like the commentary on things for sure. I think that's obviously the biggest draw in it. But I recommend it. I'm not going to say it's the best movie, but like, like the way that like the Marvel movies aren't the best movies, but I like them, Check it out. Why not? Also, your friend from secondary school is in it.
Killian Scott.
Yes.
Go away.
Yeah.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah, he's doing very well.
He's doing great because he was in Secret Invasion.
Yes, yeah.
Did
you watch that in the end?
I did, yeah. We talked about it a while back. No bueno. Okay, I have two things to add. First of all, bouncing off of your Maggie Moore's reference, I saw that like John Slattery directed it, who was Sterling in... Is he Sterling? Roger Sterling in Mad Men? So, with the silver hair. So you've got a... and he was in 30 Rock as well as the like potential presidential candidate that goes goo goo gaga. So I can see how he gets that cast.
Isn't he in the MCU?
Isn't he in the MCU? He's Henry Stark. Henry Stark?
But he's Howard Stark.
Howard Stark.
But he's not in what's he? So he directed.
He directed Maggie Moore's.
Okay.
Which led me to then, because I had it open, I saw that John Hamm was in a movie that I was looking forward to, and was curious to see happen because they've talked about it for fucking ever. Confess Fletch, which is a reboot of the Fletch series, which was the Chevy Chase movies.
Yep.
That came out at the end of 2022.
Mm-hmm.
To no fanfare, to no streaming notification, to no global distribution, to no...
Yeah.
So,
it's on Now TV.
I mean, 86% in Rotten Tomatoes. Let's just see what it's sitting at. 86% review, 75% audience. I am going to be watching that this week because I enjoyed the Fletch movies growing up. I love John Hamm. I was kind of really curious to see what comes of this. One of the things that's been forgotten is that the Fletch books in the 70s were huge. They were absolutely huge, like a Reacher or a Dan Brown thing. And they kind of faded away, but they were enormous. So it is funny to me how cultural things ebb and flow. Something that was the bee's knees, the mutts nuts, the whatever the fuck, it just completely forgotten about. Sorry, but that's there. I'm going to watch that. The other thing I was going to bounce off then is, because you mentioned the Stella, that reminded me that when I was in Edinburgh, it was like an Irish comedians WhatsApp group, and somebody threw up that they had tickets to a preview screening of Theatre Camp, which is in cinemas now, at the Everyman Theatre, I think was the name of it. And the Everyman sounds like what you're talking about. It was lush. It was a cocktail bar. You could get popcorn, but it wasn't quite like cinema concessions. There was just carpet, and the chairs with just these big couches. The walls were soft and luxurious. There was little tables. It was beautiful. A beautiful cinema in the middle of Edinburgh. Highly recommend the Everyman in Edinburgh.
Yes, that sounds similar.
And I saw Theatre Camp, which on the face of it looks like a kind of summer camp movie, like Camp Nowhere or, Heavyweights or something. But I had seen a comic in Chicago who goes to a lot of movies that I quite like, review it and say this is highly underrated. Check it out. And so I grabbed those tickets when they were going, and I went. And it was less Camp Nowhere and more Spinal Tap. Kind of like a documentary around this theatre camp and the people that run it. And it's...
we call them mockumentaries in the biz.
Yeah, I guess. And it was...
it's the biz, man.
The biz. So the person that runs the theatre camp basically has a stroke or has a seizure and is hospitalized like the first day that they're shooting the mockumentary. I'm trying to remember her name. Her brother is also it's Amy Sedaris. And then it's following her son, played by Jimmy Tatro, who played Bert Kreischer in the Machine movie. And he's like a real broy, like crypto dude, trying to run this theatre camp and not understanding these kids. It's Ben Platt and Molly Gordon. It's really sweet. It's really sincere. By the end of it, it's just heartstring pulling. Lovely. I loved it a lot. And I highly recommend seeing Theatre Camp. It's like just a lovely little movie with a good heart. Go see it. Highly recommend.
There has been a wee bit of some Marvel news. Daredevil, Born Again, Ironheart and Wonder Man are now delayed indefinitely because the studios continue to refuse to pay writers and actors fairly. The video game industry is now facing a strike from the actors SAG and AFTRA whole situation, and Josh Hartnett is rumoured to have been offered the role of Doctor Doom.
Yeah. I'm not worried about who gets Doctor Doom. People are worried about Doctor Doom, or people keep talking about who's going to play Doctor Doom.
Doesn't matter who plays them as long as it's fucking written right and looks good.
Yeah.
It doesn't fucking matter who plays who. That shit drives me mad now.
The fear for me is that the panic associated with not being able to produce Marvel content leads to them pissing out Marvel content the minute they have a writer back. And we know this from the last writer strike. Like, right after the strike, the amount of stuff that came out that was dog shit. And like, it's because people were producing things without writers, and then once they got writers back, they just rushed because they had this gap. The best thing that could possibly happen for the Marvel Cinematic Universe is that they take this opportunity to pare it back to 1 or 2 projects a year and do them right. Yeah, and that's the only way this is going to get halfway decent again.
Yes, 100%. 100%. I agreed.
By the time I'm saying it, we know we're in trouble because I've been the best or the strongest defender of all of this Marvel shit, and I don't want to. We've talked about this a little bit. We're getting repetitive in what we're talking about on this podcast in terms of Marvel content. It's something that fascinates us, but we're trying to add a little structure of like, let's actively discuss a film. So we kind of hit.
But news is news.
News is news, absolutely, of course. Yeah.
Disappointed to hear that some of those shows are going to be put on the long finger, particularly
cancel them entirely. Cancel them entirely.
Wonder Man. Oh, you think so?
I think so. I have no interest in Wonder Man. I have no interest in whatever the fuck. There's too much stuff. There's too much. Slow the fuck down. Cancel them entirely for the minute. I would see a Daredevil film. I would see a Daredevil. No, I don't know that I want a series. None of these series have been good enough to warrant it. The Disney series experiment, like, what Disney series, even beyond Marvel, what would you keep? First season of The Mandalorian and Andor.
Only Murders in the Building, and
even Only Murders in the Building is like, it's a real fucking masturbatory party with their friends. Like, it's not funny enough. It's not biting enough. It's not played well enough. I really wanted to like it.
Of the children.
You can go back and listen to the early episodes of this where we were talking about it, and I'm bending over backwards to try and like it. Yeah, and and Brian were like, nah. And I was listening to last week's episode, maybe, or when I was editing it, and Brian was like, yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's good fun. I put it on in the background. It's like, God, like, it's so... Maybe it got better in the second season or the third season, but I just...
I don't particularly remember not liking it, but I could be wrong. You know, the word is out. My word is out there online.
Yeah.
But whatever. Anyways, it certainly turned me, and I love the show. I think it's great. If I don't remember particularly like not liking it, but
I think... Yeah. I come to Steve Martin for his zany capers. I enjoy wild and crazy guy Steve Martin, and because Martin Short is doing that, he's playing straight. And I'm not enjoying. When I was watching season 1, it's like, I'm not really enjoying Martin Short, and I'm not really enjoying Steve Martin.
Well, Steve Martin's a bit zanier in this season,
and I have no interest in Selena Gomez.
Okay.
So I really needed the story to grab me, and then it didn't.
I hope they never hear this, because I consider them my friends, and I love them.
Yeah, and now they've Paul Rudd and Tina Fey and Meryl Streep, and again, it's just like, you know, it's victory lapping. It's everyone having fun with their friends, and it seems to be something people like, but it was not doing it for me. Now, smash cut to me a week from now, having watched all of season 2, loving it, but I don't know. That's where I was by the end of season 1. And did we say we're going to book tickets to the Stella? We're going to see Bridge Over the River Kwai, and we're going to talk about some classic Alec Guinness war movie next week. Alec Guinness?
Yes, Alec Guinness. Yeah. Oh, dude, it's nearly 3 hours long. Fuck.
It's going to be great. We're going to go in at 2:30. Can we make a day of it? We go in at 2:30, and we have some cocktails, and we see a movie, and then we get some dinner, and then we go to pub, and we can meet Bob, and then we could go dancing, and it's going to be great. It's going to be, and then we'll just get absolutely rat-arsed and fall in the liffey and wash out to the Irish Sea.
Yeah. I think I have actually something on that day. I'm busy.